Sunday School teacher, I'm glad that you have joined us for our final session on studying the book of Psalms. We've spent the last 13 weeks looking at various chapters and themes in the book of Psalms, and I hope that you have enjoyed this study. Today is that last lesson. We're preparing for Sunday, August 27th. And the title of this lesson is The Longing. And we're going to be in Psalm 42. And we'll look at the 11 verses in Psalm 42. The point, the goal, the target, if you will, is the hope of God's presence serves as an encouragement during discouraging times. So the promise, the hope, the assurance that we have of God being with us should serve as the encouragement during those difficult times in our life. So we'll be in Psalm 42. Living by faith, being a Christian, does not mean never having to deal with discouragement, desperation, or grief. So just because you're a Christian does not mean that your life is going to be free from discouragement, desperation, grief, or even depression. It's going to happen. Believers are like all human beings. We all have to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, those dark moments. But as believers, as Christians, we do not walk through those valleys alone. We have God with us. Psalm 42, the one that we're looking at today, is a song in which one of the sons of Korah poured out his discouraged heart before the Lord. And so this is one of the sons of Korah. Now, we know that Korah was a great-grandson of Levi, and that Levi was a family of worship leaders and worship singers. We know that Korah had rebelled against Moses and Aaron during the wilderness, and in judgment, God destroyed most of this family, but some were spared, and their descendants later became the gatekeepers at the temple. And so when we say the sons of Korah, it's speaking of that family that was from the Levites that went into rebellion, were judged. Most of the family were killed. Some survived, and now they are the gatekeepers at the temple. Okay? Well, the primary reason behind this psalm, this song, is the deep discouragement that was found by this psalmist in that he was away from the tabernacle. He was away from the center of worship. He wanted to be there, but couldn't. And so let's see what is said here in Psalm 42. So 42 verses 1 through 4, there we see the thirsty cry. He says, "As a deer longs for streams of water, so I long for you, God. I thirst for God, the living God. When I can come and appear, when can I come and appear before God? My tears have been my food day and night, while all day long people say to me, 'Where is your God?'" And then verse 4, "I remember this as I pour out my heart, how I walked with many, led the festive procession to the house of God with joyful and thankful shouts." So here we've got the psalmist agonizing over his spiritual dryness, and he is remembering the good old days of when he had led joyful worship in God's house. Verse 1, we see the animal being thirsty. When an animal is thirsty, the need to quench that thirst becomes their single-minded focus. My dog, when I have a lab, and when we are out walking, doing what we need to do, and just enjoying the day, running, doing whatever, and he gets thirsty, it doesn't make any difference if I want to pet him or if I have a treat. If he is thirsty, quenching that thirst becomes his priority. And before we can do anything else, we've got to get